All right, so we'll begin now. Good afternoon once again to everyone. Thank you so much for joining despite the short notice. We are glad to have you. So my name is Dapo. For those that do not know, my name is Dapo. For those that do not know, but I think everybody should. I work with EIE. So I'll be the one managing this project for now. And we just want to have everybody introduce themselves quickly. Just tell us your name and organization, because we would all be working on this together and we would really just like to know ourselves. When you want to talk, you can put on your video if you want. If not, you can just leave it like this. But we'd like to know everybody that's here, your name, organization, and then we can start this. Thank you so much.
Hi guys,
hello,
good afternoon.
Okay.
You can go, madam.
No, just I'll come after you.
All right, Abidin Olasupo is my name. I'm the Executive Director of Brain Builders Youth Development Initiative. I'm based in Kwara State. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Harira Wakili. I'm working with Center for Information Technology and Development, CITAD, in Kano. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yahuza Magaji. I'm working with Connected Development, Taraba State Team Lead. Thank you.
Good morning,
Good
everyone.
afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charles Christopher. I'm the Executive Director of Positive Youth for Transformation Initiative in Yola, Adamawa State. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olaleko Aroyen, and I'm also with EIE. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oyinye Ojiako. I work with EIE. Thank you.
Righty. My name is Mukhtar Halilu Modibo. I manage all community engagement at CODE.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kingsley Agu. I manage CODE's activities in Kaduna.
Okay, we're waiting for others. I can see Olga from Niger, Mr. Matthew. I can see Mr. Obina from Jos. I can see Father Chike from Sokoto. Yeah.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay, my name is Obina Chukwueze. I'm the Executive Director of Journalism, Communication, and Media Center in Jos.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, let's just go ahead. Looks like others are not here, as it were. But yes, so thank you once again for coming. Let me share my screen again.
Hello, Dapo.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Sorry.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, my name is Father Lawrence. I'm the director for the Bakita initiative, that is JDPC Sokoto, and I am actually communicating with you as I move on. But then, the second person, Margaret, is supposed to be on as well. So I'm hoping that she will join us soon, so that both of us can continue. She and myself will be managing the project. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Right, so I'll go ahead, and then those that have not introduced themselves can please just let me know as soon as you're on board fully, and we would have you just introduce yourself. Just to say that according to the plan, we're supposed to have quick remarks by ED Semi Adamulek. She'll do that when she joins in as well. And a major part of the meeting today is a conversation with Dr. Chinwe Ochu, and she's the head of prevention programs and knowledge management at NCDC. We spoke this morning. She said she has to represent the DG in a meeting with the Minister of Education. As we all know, they are thinking of either writing WAEC or not, but she said the meeting should end before 12 and before 12-ish, so she can join us then. So I'll go ahead with other things I have to say, and then we would conclude with her. So please and please, I understand that some of us have to go for prayers. Please, if you need to, please you can, and join us as soon as you can as well. We would try not to take your time. The goal of this meeting is to really explain this project and what we plan to achieve, how we plan to monitor it, what we want to really do. That's why we're having this meeting, so that everyone is on the same page before we start. And so we can also be sure that the partners on board would want to continue in this project as well with us. So for everybody that's on this call, I've just called you or sent a mail and just explained what the project was about. We've not had that in quotes, formal place of signing any MOU or something like that, because we want everyone to understand what we want to achieve and then decide based on that if they'll be willing to go ahead. So that's why we're having this meeting. So I'll move ahead. It's important to also say that this project is funded by the US Embassy in Nigeria. There was a call for application, we applied, and it's focused on just northern states. Just northern states. So we are using, or we are doing this in 14 northern states. 14 northern states. And the goal is to remarkably use simple messaging, majorly radio, to one, tackle fake news, educate citizens on the COVID-19 pandemic, and track palliatives provided by private organizations and the government. So we know that COVID-19 has been, we did not expect this, nobody prepared for this. And what is also very clear is that some people still don't think this is real. Some people still don't believe that, some people think the government is just using it to get money from whoever it is. And these are things we hear here and there. I'm sure that when it's time for feedback, many of us can talk about what we're experiencing in different states as well. And we want to just curb that a lot, because we know that aside what COVID-19 is doing in terms of deaths, we know that there's this infodemic challenge, fake news. And of course, it's not been here just today. Now, remember Ebola in 2014 and how that people were using salt to bait themselves because they thought it was going to cure them. And we saw something similar again during this period. I remember a few months ago or 2 months ago, when people thought it was chloroquine, and people were literally getting chloroquine and just trying to see if it was the cure and use it. So there were cases of overdose of chloroquine. And we keep seeing things like this everywhere. And we know that particularly in the north, where we think we can use radio to check many of these things. Now, in my call with the NCDC director, like I said, she also affirmed the fact that we need to do a lot more in communicating to people. Now, because people are not getting from government or from CSOs in that sense, it is easy to get any information and believe it. It's easy to just pick up something on WhatsApp or something somewhere else or something someone said and really just hold on to it like it's the gospel truth. So through this project, we want to help people understand what is real and what is not real. Of course, we don't want to spread fear, because we also know that that can be dangerous to do, but we want to say the truth the way it is. Some people also think, like I said, the government wants to just get money from all of this pandemic. And that's not true. So first, we want to tackle fake news. We want to tackle fake news. We want to educate citizens on the COVID-19 pandemic. That's a major focus of this as well. And that's why we'll be having NCDC on board. And like I said, I also spoke to her and she agreed that yes, NCDC will be willing to partner with us well in achieving this project. So the goal is that at least once in a month across the 13 states and FCT where we are doing this, we can have NCDC come in and talk to listeners. If we have phone call or something, and talk to listeners right? So that people can get from them information. And that's what we hope that our partnership with NCDC will achieve. Now, the bulk of the work, however, would be on you, our partners in your different states, to also get required personnel, maybe from NMA or doctors, or people that people would listen to and are trustworthy to also speak to these issues. Now, having said that, although our focus or the major focus is on the COVID-19 pandemic, this is still called the Office of the Citizen. We are not changing the name. We are retaining it as Office of the Citizen because we want to, of course, do COVID-19, but many other things are happening at different places. So at EIE, we're working on this infographic, which should be out by Sunday in this day newspaper. And what we are trying to do is just show Nigerians that yes, COVID is real. Yes, about 600 people have died already from COVID-19, but we lose many more people every day due to many other infectious diseases like malaria, for example, like cholera, like pneumonia. Now, these are diseases that sometimes because they don't just, or the government just ignores or turns a blind eye. Yes, COVID is real, but there are many other health challenges that we are facing and need to be tackled. So this program is also supposed to help educate people on other issues around governance, human rights issues, and just several other things, and not just COVID-19. Now, the last part is to track palliatives provided by the private organizations and the government. We want citizens to be engaged in tracking. Now, we know that normally organizations like Code, I'm glad they are here, Tracker should also join us too, but organizations like Code, Tracker, and maybe some of our organizations to track what government does, palliatives, but we know with these times, there are restrictions in movement, there are restrictions, and we want to limit that as well. So what we think would be good to do is to get citizens themselves who are in those different local governments, because you can easily step out from your house, see a primary care center opposite you, walk up there with your marks and see if it is working, rather than someone that is staying far away, having to drive down or take a vehicle down to that same place. So our goal is to get citizens themselves, wherever they are, track what the government is doing. So give the information. That's what we will do. We'll provide this information to citizens, and we would get them to track this. And so thank you. I can see that we have a partner from Zamfara, Mr. Luke Mamadi. Thank you so much for joining us. Samati Oladele from ISODAF in Niger State. Thank you. Ms. Jonathan from Sensor Empowerment Foundation, thank you so much, in Benue State, and Simon as well from Benue State. Thank you so much for joining us. So, as I was saying, our goal is to have citizens in their different places also track what the government is doing. So if the government says they have budgeted 1.5 billion for A, B, C, and D, we can get citizens in those places who are listening to our radio program to go there and confirm, rather than we having to deploy our own staff to go to those different places. Now, please, as I'm talking, if there are questions or something you want to contribute, please feel free to interrupt. It's not, we know these things. I'm just reiterating what we know. So if there are feedbacks you want to give, please feel free to just jump in and we can have this conversation. So that's what we want to do with this project. Again, tackle fake news, educate citizens on the COVID-19 pandemic, and track palliatives provided by private organizations and the government. Those are the three major things we want to tackle with this project. Does anyone have anything to say before I go ahead, please? Does anyone have anything to say before I go ahead? Any question or any contribution?
I think it's okay and course, so we are following.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
All right. So our plan of action. So we're saying we want to get clear messaging on COVID-19 pandemic. We want to present it in very simple information, a simple way to people. Like I said, we know that radio is a very good means through which we can reach people. We understand that many people might not be on social media. So while social media is a very good tool, it cuts access to a lot of people. And so we want to use radio to reach many more people, get them to understand what is happening, and just really get them to understand things very clearly. So we use leverage on radio in the northern states, 14 northern states. I'll go through the states again. I know we have Adamawa, I know there's Benue, Abuja again, like I've said, there's Gombe, Sokoto is there, Zamfara is also there, there's Kogi State, about 14 of them in all. So we are focusing on just the northern states. Okay, I can see that Jonathan wants to say something. You can go ahead, Ma.
Thank you. Just to correct, Benue is the middle belt state. I know we say northern blah blah political reasons. So let's note that one. Okay. Two, Hausa is, yes, we have a large house community, but let us remember that there are about 4 languages. Hausa is not the main language there. So let's also make those adjustments as we present or we talk about this program. In Benue, as we know, there's Steve, there's Idoma, there's Itulo, and Simon will type in the fourth group. In addition to Hausa, there's a large Hausa population, yes, but let us note that. So we're defining the project more clearly. Yeah, right. I'm sure it's the same for a lot of other states, but just let's be clear.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Yes. So just to say also that some of them will be in Hausa, some of them will be in English. I expect like in Benue, we should do English. In Kogi, we're also doing it in English. In Sokoto, we're also doing it in English, except but Lawrence thinks otherwise. I know that in last year's engagement, it was in English.
What of Adamawa should be in English?
Adamawa should be English.
Yes.
Or what do you think, sir? Should we? I remember the last time I came around, people were asking why we're not doing it in other languages.
Adamawa?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, people will surely ask of that. But if you look at Adamawa vividly, we know that English language is highly more acceptable. Although I know that our people speak Hausa very well. But I think we have to mix it. Maybe if we do it in Hausa this time, this week, maybe next week we do it in English.
Okay, all right. I'll note that as well. So we can just switch things, sometimes Hausa, sometimes English. So also what I would do is...
I want to suggest something.
Okay.
I was thinking that what if they have the two together, like the way we normally do in some OOTC, where we have the native language interpreter by the side, they ask questions both in English and native language.
Or alternatively, normally when we are doing program, we give them free go ahead. They can ask questions either in any language that they can speak very well. You know, sometimes those that can hear English, sometimes speaking it out is a bit difficult for them. Like our state, you know, our state we are highly educated in our state. So I think mixing it would be okay for me.
That's fine. So I know that Lekon, for example, in Abeokuta, now Lekon is my colleague that manages our engagement in Abeokuta. So what they do is someone speaks in English for a while, and then someone then says the same thing in Yoruba, right?
Yes, yes.
May I speak from a Benue angle, please? Just to add to what my email just said. Hello. Hello.
Simon, go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. Now we were talking about languages and translating the original language for the training to indigenous languages. Then we have Hausa isn't the major language in the state. We have largely the T population, the Idomas, the Igede. We have the Itulos. These are the largest population we have in Benue State. Hausa is just a fraction of the languages that is spoken in Benue. So we should, when we're making programs, we should make in consideration to that. And it is not part of the North. It's not completely the North, where we keep making that mistake, Northeast, and then we generalize Benue State is part of it. Benue is in the middle belt, and these are the languages that are spoken there mostly.
Okay. So as we're going ahead with this, English will be a better language, right? Just to?
Yeah, English, and then a bit of Pidgin. If we must, we have people represented in most of these languages where translation can be done. So at Hausa shouldn't be, if you're going to do a translation from the EIA angle, we should not prioritize Hausa as the language down here for Benue State. It wouldn't work completely.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yes, so I can see a question from Jonathan that we will get key messages and suggest topics. Yes, we will do that. And so I would also talk about the reporting a bit today as well. So we have things we are trying to track as well, and metrics in measuring what we are doing and ensuring that this is actually achieving what we set out to do. So we'll discuss that as well, yes. And of course, we would be involved in the topics, of course, because you're in that state, we expect that you would manage it, and we will just oversight functions. For example, we will design the flyers, can suggest topics sometimes if there's a need to do that. Once we confirm with all the states, the days and time, I know for some states we will retain the same time we've been using before and same days, but for some others like Benue, we are just starting, like Abuja, like Taraba, that we're just starting again. We might change things. But as soon as we get all of this sorted out, we would send it to NCDC so they can let us know when in the months they can show up for. So again, this project is for 6 months for now. That's important to say. It's for 6 months. It's funded for 6 months. We hope that we would get more money to sustain this because our goal is to eventually continue. We don't want to stop. And of course, it's beyond COVID-19. It's not just because of COVID-19. Like we must have known, EIA has been doing this for years. As at last year, we're in about 25 states in Nigeria doing this weekly engagement. Of course, we had to stop because of funding, and now we are back, and we hope that we can sustain it. Now, the good feedback, I mean, from even last year's engagements was how that states like Gombe, for example, even when we stopped paying, we had reached out that we could not continue. The station continued. People called in to ask why we stopped, and the station was forced to continue. I know that for a quarter, some other states continued, like Ibadan continued, just also continued for a quarter, for 3 months, without us paying a dime. And that was just good to also know. So as we start this, our goal is that the stations can see value in what we are doing and can buy it up themselves and continue to do it. Or just look for other means to ensure that this is sustained. Now, interestingly, in Uyo, of course, we paid for that as well. After the first and second quarter, we could not anymore. And then the partner got some funding and is going on presently in Uyo State, in Uyo rather. In Eboyin too, is going on presently. I spoke with the partner yesterday. He got some funding. Now, we are big on partnership. Of course, we know that EIE cannot do this across all the states. So Nigeria also continue for 2 months. Thank you. So we know that we cannot do this across all the states, and we know that, and that's why we have you there. So with you in that state, it's your project. That's how we want you to see it. You are the one in charge of getting the guest who is going to speak, what person is speaking about. We will design the flyers. We also have a fairly good social media presence, yeah, so we can push things online. We have relationship with newspapers. We can do infographics, put out information as well. So we would lead on those areas, but essentially, we want you to own this because you are there in that state, you're in that location, you know better than I would because I'm in Lagos. I would not be able to travel anywhere until this project ends, maybe. I mean, we don't know how things would unfold. But please, because you are there, we want you to manage this and let us know what you think. We are working together. It's not EIE trying to own this in that sense. We want you to own it, and we are working together to achieve this. We do not want to lose people to COVID-19 because of wrong information. We do not want people to harm themselves because of the lack of access to good information. We do not want corruption and lack of accountability because people do not know what the government is doing and they do not know how they can track those things. Now, a quick example about this is the portal of the government's open treasury. Now, we saw that billions of naira were spent or allocated, and on that portal, actually, people can see how much was spent or given to different ministries, about 5 million. Now, that would be a good platform for citizens to know about if you are in, let's say, Zamfara, for example. Is a school in Zamfara that was giving money or allocated to. We can give the information to citizens. They can be able to just walk across their houses and see if the school is actually there. rather than having to send someone in the capital to go to a rural location to just confirm. So those are the things we want to try and do here. So we've said we'll facilitate engagement with government officials and other CSOs leading responses across various sectors. We would also track, get citizens to monitor disbursement of palliatives. Now, $400 million was as of May when I worked on this proposal. I'm not sure of the figures now, but I know it's a lot more than this. And so we would get people like OOTC, Tracker, Code, Future Project, and all of us across our different states to lead this effort in tracking this disbursement. So again, channel of engagement, radio. So 14 states, Adamawa, Benue, Gombe, Kaduna, Kano, Kogi, Kwara, Niger, Plateau, Sokoto, Taraba, Yobe, Zamfara, and the FCT. So these are the states we are targeting with this engagement. And of course, we would have you there managing this. Social media, like I said, we have a fairly good amount of people following us, which we can share. Also graphics too. We would lead on designing the graphic designs. We also hope that we can do some content in Hausa. So if you have anything like that that you would like us to design in Hausa, please just share with us, share the contents, and we can easily just design, put up fairly good designs and share back with you. I know that we are big on branding. So of course, your logos will be there, ours will be there as well. We'll cover all of this perfectly. Like I said, once again, we are working together to achieve this. It's not an EIE thing. It's EIE and CASDEV. It's EIE and CESO. It's EIE and Brain Builders. It's all of us doing this together. So, having said this, before I go ahead to the report template, any question or feedback from anyone before I go ahead, please?
Good day, all.
Good day, sir.
Hello? Yes, I think this a very bad observations from different individuals. So I just want to say that everyone is free to, of course, bring up any observations as we did with the OOTC project. So as for us in Zamfara, of course, we have Fulani and other tribes. Also be maintaining Hausa in Zamfara because the essence is to get it is to get the message down to all the people at the grassroots, so that at least we can be able to exchange enough information and share it with them. So I want to commend EIE once again for this very insightful project, and we look forward to working with all the partners on this project. Thank you.
Okay, can you just say your names and your organization, Mr. Lukman?
Yes, I am Lukman Majidadi from Community Action and Sustainable Development. Sorry, my video is giving me a problem. I will link up soon.
That's fine, sir. Yes. Okay, so any other feedback and comment before we go ahead, please?
May I speak? This is EA Jonathan Seso.
Yes, please go ahead, ma.
Okay, so just a quick question. One, what's the core target of the, I'm sorry if I missed that earlier, the core target audience for the campaign or the programs?
Thank you, ma. So our core target audience is everyone. I mean, everyone that can get access to a radio. And because we know that people in rural communities would most likely listen to radio. So those are like the major focus as well. But everyone that can listen to radio, yeah. Of course, what we're also trying to do is, we know that young people, for example, would not want to stay or listen to a radio program except if they are sure of the content. And so we are trying to ensure that the content can also meet them. So some radio stations have social media or live streaming platforms. We also encourage that to be shared widely. So youths that would not want to go or listen to a radio program, we can share the link to them, they can join. And so everybody, we are not restricting this to any age group, or everybody can.
Okay. So we'll come back further on the language issue, because even though Hausa is not widely spoken, we hear that there seems to be some mysterious deaths in the Hausa community in Benue. Some of them on daily basis. We don't know if they are COVID, but when we get more information, we'll be able to advise better afterwards.
Okay, thank you for that, ma'am.
Well. Yeah, thank you.
So of course, what we can do is when there are things like this, we can always switch to Hausa, maybe come back to English later on. But then thank you for that, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other from anyone, please?
Yeah, I think this program is really timely. And I think one of the major challenges we are having in this part of the states, in Adamawa more especially, is like people are fed up with the COVID-19 thing. And most people think that the COVID-19 is fake. And you see that even when people are greeting, they are doing it just for joke, just to create some jokes, but not truly because they truly wanted to prevent the sickness. And I think this program, the Office of Citizen program, is timely. It's truly timely. It will help us to actually educate people more on the need to take it very serious, more especially the civilized ones. Even the civilized ones that the uncivilized ones supposed to see that from them, taking precaution of them. But you will see they will be laughing that the figures that the government are giving are fake and all these things, blah, 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 blah. That tends to discourage more people from taking the program seriously or taking the sickness seriously. I think I want to commend EIE for bringing this program at this time. It is really timely. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Well noted. Please, any other feedback or questions before we go ahead with the reporting template?
Sorry, Yapo, hello.
Yes.
Please, I jumped out to go and pray, and I'm just coming back. Though I did not left the meeting, so I just got back.
Okay.
I really don't know what went well, what went wrong, or whatever. But I can catch up. I'm a fast learner.
All right, that's fine. So just a bit of recap, just so we don't lose you totally. Our goal is to tackle fake news, educate citizens on COVID-19 pandemic, and then track palliatives provided by the private organizations and then the government. We are big on radio. That's what we are doing essentially. Yeah, you do social media as well. Yeah. And we also want to track palliatives. I know that Code does that a lot. So we are doing that. Hello?
Yeah, I can go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So we want to track palliatives from the government and the private institutions as well. And the 14 states, again, as you can see, Adamawa, Benue, Gombe, Kaduna, Kano, Kogi, Kwara, Niger, Plateau, Sokoto, Taraba, Yobe, Zamfara, and FCT. And FCT is where you are leading the efforts in. So that's immediately what we've been saying. I was about to discuss the report templates, which we'll be getting monthly, but I just wanted feedback from other people as well before we go ahead.
Yeah, can you go back to the next slide, please? Just this slide, the second. Can you go back to the next? No. Go back a bit, like, all right, go, like the next one. I have seen something around, social media, approximately 3,000 followers across platform that we can engage. I don't understand.
Okay, so now this is EI's social media platform. So we are saying that the goal is we will design the flyers. When the partners get the topics, we work together to do that. You get the guests, we will design the flyers we can share online. Now, if the partners have active social media accounts, which we encourage, we also please advise that you use these flyers there. Now, the essence of doing these flyers is so that people can be drawn to listen, because we are giving them rich content and we want them to listen. So if you have social media accounts, if it's WhatsApp or even Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, whichever one, please share this there. Always tag at EI Nigeria. We tweet and we share and all of that, so that people on social media can also see this and tune in. Now, if the station we are working in has an online live stream platform, please, we would like that link to be shared. We would like you to even just let us know so we can put it on the flyer as well, So every time we are tweeting about this, we are also putting the live stream link there so people can listen.
All right, one last question.
Okay, there is also a question here on my end.
Yeah, Kingsley and Kingsley Yahuza are all people that worked under community engagement at CODE. I want to confirm, I want to get this right.
Okay.
Now, do you mean using CODE handle to amplify this very thing, or using our own personal handle to do that?
Codes. I mean, so two things actually. So two things. Now, if, of course, because we are doing this in partnership with CODE, like I must have explained, CODE can tweet it, which is fine. We would tweet our CODE as well. But I mean, if I'm leading it in Lagos, for example, personally, because I'm invested in it as well, I mean, I want to use my handle to tweet it as well. But of course, we want the organization to do that. So, yeah.
All right, that's fine.
There is a question. I have a question on the radio engagement. You said that is going to be run for weekly for 6 months across the state. So the problem is, who is going to, and you said a civil society organization is going to champion that.
Okay.
How we're going to do with financing. That was what you put that in the MOU that was signed with the organization. And that is going to be led by the organization. Who is going to take responsibility? Because most of the radio stations around basically require financing of programs.
Yes,
so
yes, we understand. Yeah. So what, in terms of financing, EIE would pay for it. We would pay for the weekly programming. We would also provide, I'll get back to that, so we would also provide a stipend for our partners. Now, again, we know that this stipend is not what you would use to ensure this project runs smoothly. It's, however, just like it says, called a stipend just to support what will be done in terms of making phone calls, getting guests to also call in as well. Now, also because of COVID-19, as much as we can, we want people to call in if they cannot go to the station physically. You can just call in. We would appreciate that a lot. If people cannot go to the station, if you can call in and do the same thing you want to do in the station, just call in. So for example, here in Lagos, I undo this No Wala Monday program every Monday. We stopped for like some weeks because I could not go to the station, of course. And for example, I still works from home. We've not resumed in the office. But for like 2 months now, I've been on the program every Monday, and it's calling. Rather than having to take a cab and go down to the station, I can just sit in my house and then call in and pass across the same information I would do if I was physically in the station. So we are saying that please and please, if people can call in, please let them call in. We do not want to risk people having to move up and down or far distances to the radio station. So that must be really said. So again, EI would foot the bills for the radio programming weekly. We'll pay every quarter. A quarter is 3 months. We would pay every quarter. And again, we'll pay the partner stipends, which you would see in the MOU as well when we share it. Yeah, I hope that answered your question. Simon.
That does answer the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Ma. I can see your hands up, Ma. You can go ahead, Ma.
Thank you. May I suggest that you finish, we just go through the presentation and we save questions till later because of time.
All right, that's
so maybe
fair.
we can, please, I'd just like to ask, maybe we should just note our questions and ask at the end so we can finish and all that. Thanks.
All right, Ma. Thank you, Ma. So I would go straight up to the reporting template. Please hold on for a minute. Now, while we're doing the regular Office of Citizen program, our partners that are aware would know that this is a big part of what we also try to do, get feedback on what is happening in different states every month. We are big on this again because we've noticed that while we are doing this because we believe the partners are putting in all the efforts needed to get this done. But we also just want to ensure that on our hands, the same things we are tracking, or the metrics we used in applying for this, we meet with those things. In applying, for example, we told them we're going to bring government officials to talk directly to people. We want to be sure that our partners are doing exactly that. And I mean, that's one of the things this reporting helps us do. So be sure that partners are following closely on what we want to achieve. So just hold on, someone asked for the link. I would share that once we send the MOU, but I want to just say this so that everybody can see it and also give their feedback. I'm sharing the screen right away. All right, can everybody see the screen? Can you see the report?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Okay, all right. So, okay.
Kindly share this with us maybe after the presentation.
Yes, I would share it. Definitely, I would share it. Okay, is this clear enough now?
Yes, we can see it now. It's clear.
Okay, thank you. All right, so report by Dapao Beko, for example, this is a sample, and the topic should be somewhere here, and then the dates, the guests. For example, we're having Dr. Ismail Buhari. I mean, I just coined this, for example. So put the name of the guests, their names, challenges. The program could not accommodate many phone calls. We want to know that. We want to know if the network was poor. Then success or accomplishments. We want to know what happened as a result of the program. Now we know that. I mean, I've had the Nigerian lead of OSIWA, Mr. Jude Udo, actually mention the fact that many people that do radio engagements do not focus on actually tracking what they are doing. And I mean, I heard that. I know that EIE tries to do that a lot and just ensure we track what we are doing. But we will pay attention to that more this time around, just to ensure that although it's radio, we know that, for example, we cannot know how many people listen every time we're having a program. We cannot know those numbers. I don't know if any station tracks that, but I've asked a few of them, and they just give estimates on where people are listening from. So, for example, in Lagos State, I can see that people are listening from 5 local governments. In each local government, maybe there are like 20,000 people, so I can just estimate that we have 100,000 listeners. But we, of course, know that it's not everybody in local government that is listening to your show. So I know that many stations do not have ways to track who is listening, but there are other things we can use to track engagement, and that's what this report hopes to achieve. So in success and accomplishments, we want to know what happened in your program. We want to know if, because of the show, there was a rumor that was dispelled or not. We want to get feedback from you. Success stories or intervention from radio intervention. Maybe you talked about tracking a project and people called in to say that, yes, I went to that school and we saw that school that was done or it was not done. We can then engage based on that. Social media feedback. Whatever channel you use to promote the show, we want to know if it was Facebook or Twitter or WhatsApp. We want to know the platform you used in putting out information about the show. And then in this place here, we want to get other metrics. For example, if it was Twitter you used, we want the number of comments on Twitter. If it was Facebook, we want the number of comments on Facebook. If it was not applicable, just write not applicable like it is here. Then comments. Okay, so Twitter first and then Facebook below. So if Twitter is not applicable, just let us know. And if it's WhatsApp you used, please just include it as well. Just edit which of them you think is not applicable and then put it there. Now, we also know that radio stations are big on SMS. People send SMS to radio stations. Okay, someone was saying template looks familiar. Yes, I mean, this is what we're using for OOTC before. Just a few edits and tweaks to it. Yeah, so if you got SMS, please let us know how many SMS were received. If people called in, we want to know number of calls received. We also want to know the gender. Now, why this is important is because in places like Zamfara, for example, I remember when I was there last year, and then people called in to say that women do not actually participate. Actually, a woman called to say that, can we provide a separate line for women? Now, I know that while that might be beyond what we can do, because of course we are not buying phones for the station to get a different line for women, except if the partners think that is possible on their end. But we would want to strongly get women to participate. We know that in places like that, and across Nigeria essentially, voices of women are not heard as much as possible. So we want to ensure that women can participate, and we want to now make what calling male and female. Also, there's this donation tracker. Now, a big part of this project, like I said earlier, was to get citizens to track donations by the government and private individuals. So, for example, if CITAD in Kano today comes on air and talks about the fact that Kano State government released 200 million, and 200 million was distributed via bank accounts to citizens in a local government in Kano. So on radio, we can give that information to people and then ask people to call in if you got the money. So if you're in that local government, can you call in to let us know how much you got? Did you get it? When did you get it? We want those kind of feedback. For example, even Zamfara State, the government said they spent 200 million on fixing a primary school in Zamfara State. We would want to be intentional in putting that information out to citizens and then get them to go to those places and see if what the government said they did was actually accomplished. We know that a big part of this challenge with service delivery is how that sometimes the government is not doing what they should do. They are not actually releasing the money. Sometimes the government releases the money and the contractors do not do what they are supposed to do. So we know that across the service chain delivery, there are different challenges we have. So we want to get citizens involved as key players. The truth is that CSOs do this very well. Again, follow the money tracker with their representatives in about 25 states, but it's not sustainable. I mean, we cannot have CSOs do what citizens should do themselves. And what we are trying to do is to get citizens to understand that it's our work. We cannot leave some CSOs to do the work millions of Nigerians should be doing. It's not sustainable. It's not, on the long run, we are only just not getting citizens engaged. So a big part of this is citizens engagement. Track it yourself. We will do our own job and our job in that sense in getting information available. I know, for example, that people would hardly want to go to a website to now check for Ministry of Health, how much the government sent to Ministry of Health and all that, but we would break it down, provide that information in different languages, Hausa or English as the case might be, and ask that people themselves go to those places if they are close enough and track it themselves. So a big part of this, again, is getting people themselves to be involved in getting government to work. I mean, we can as CSOs keep talking about this from today, tomorrow, but without citizen involvement and engagement, we would not make good progress as much as we want. And I'm sure many of us can attest to this. The more we get citizens engaged in what we are doing, the better it is. We need voices, we need synergy, and we need citizens themselves to demand good governance. So we want to know, for example, if a project was tracked, people gave feedback or not. So each month, at least one show, at least 1 week should be dedicated to discussing things around that. So if it happened, yes or no, number of donations tracked by citizens, let us know. If it was 5 donations that were tracked, let us know. Then fake news debunked. Fake news. So we want to know also if you debunked any fake news. We want to know if during the program, maybe for example, there was a video that was going around in Kano, if I'm not mistaken, about someone washed his hands or something like that, and then drank the water and said that's how you can get cured of COVID or something like that. I'm not too sure. He was speaking Hausa too. So we want to know if things like that were debunked on the show. If people called to also say that, thank you for saying this was wrong. We want to know those things. And so we want to know, was any fake news debunked on today's show? Yes or no? Please include. Number of news debunked, 3 or 4, let us know as well. Then, now remember that I had said earlier that a big part of this is also to get the government involved. We want people to hear from the government themselves. So did we have any government official as guests? Yes or no? The number of government officials, per show, 1 or 2 or 3, let us know. And so this is just a blank report, which you would have to edit and then duplicate. To duplicate is just what I'm doing. Okay, my network is hacked up because I've duplicated it already. I can just change it to week 2. Now I'm just going through this just for the benefit of just a few of us, please, so that we are sure and clear about this. I can edit this to week 2 and make necessary changes as need be. So this is the template we would be using for our reporting every month. You would fill it in every week, and then every month you would share with us at the end of the month. Please and please, we need this report. Now, what I've noticed from previous engagements was how that because many partners were not actually tracking these things every week, at the end of the month, then it looks like we're just trying to remember what was done or what was said and trying to collate it at the end of the month. Now, if that's what is done, we would lose vital information. If you're waiting at the end of the month to do this, we would lose vital information. So please and please, we want you to track this every week. Don't send it to us every week. Track it every week on your end. At the end of the month, send it to us. We would collate it. We have a bigger sheet where we have reports from every state that we can see at one glance. We want to see at one glance what is happening in every state. So we have that sheet available on our own hand. But this is what we require from the partners every month. Please share this report with us, please and please. We need this information. So I'll stop here. It'll be a good time to ask questions from things I've said previously while we try to get NCDC to join ASAP. So please, questions or clarification. If anything was not clear to you, please, you can just let us know.
Dapo, I'm sure you are going to send an MOU that will talk about all these things, because what I'm seeing here is the radio. The first question is the radio going to be a bi-weekly or a weekly show?
It's weekly.
That is one. And hello?
It's weekly.
It's weekly.
Yeah.
All right. So I think, I don't think we would have any other question. Let's see for me, I think.
All right, there is a question actually.
Let's have the MOU first and know what's the next one.
All right.
Over here, I have a question concerning the radio engagement. Is IE going to champion a selection of radio stations across the states? Because in Benue State, we have about 3 radio stations, and some are not as far-reaching in the rural areas as others. So is IE going to take responsibility for selecting which radio stations to be engaged on the program, or it's left to the discretion of the CSOs to decide which will reach more population?
Okay, so we would work with the CSOs on the ground to do that. So, for example, I know that I spoke with Kingsley in Kaduna yesterday or Wednesday, just to ask what stations they think would be good to engage. Because, for example, we have done in Kaduna before. We did it in Liberty FM, yes. But of course, because we're starting different engagements, I wanted to know what stations he thought would be okay, because you are there, you know what works. We can sit here in Lagos and just go online, press how many radio stations are in Benue State, and it brings out all of them. But because you are there, you can be able to give us first-hand information. And so we rely on the partners to know what stations to engage. Once that is done, let us know. We will discuss that carefully, and then we would send the MOU as well to the partner, to the radio station, and pay them directly. However, a big part from feedback I got last year while I went on the M&E visits was how that some partners, I mean in Adama, for example, we had this thing with the radio station and the partner. And so what we would ensure this time around is that the partners are managing conversation on the radio station every week, as it were. On our end, we'll just pay the money. We'll let you know where we're ahead of time before we pay. So you can be the one to follow up with the station and say that, have you received the money or not? So that the partners are, in that sense, very involved as key stakeholders in this. That's what we want to achieve. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I saw some hands up. You can go ahead and just ask your questions, please.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, Matthew Oladile from Niger. Thank you for the presentation. The reporting template is a little bit familiar. I just want to find out, unlike if we have an episode in the previous week and there are issues picked up by the media, maybe by the print media, on the issues we discussed in the previous week, how do we report that?
Yes, thank you for raising that actually. So maybe what we can then put is include a link somewhere, and just, so for example, I can say something like news reportage. If there's a link, you can just include the link. If it's a picture, if you cannot include it, just send it to us as you send the reports, and then we would note it. Did I answer that, sir?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right, sir.
Yes, Dako, well done. Concerning the issue of radio partners, thank God you have witnessed what happened in Adamawa State. And whereby the radio partner is telling us that he will be the one to tell us what to do. We are not the one to tell him what to do. So I am very happy that you have taken correction on time. Let us be the one, like the one employing the radios to do to do their work for us, not you partnering, discussing with them directly where they will have no respect for us on programs. Even if we tell them this is the program that's supposed to be done, they will tell us no. They are also partners in the program. They are in charge. They should be the one to tell us what to do. So I think the step he takes now will be able to solve that problem. Thank you.
Okay, Mike, can go ahead. Okay, any other person? Feedback, questions?
Hello.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Hello.
I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Regarding the monthly report here in Yobe State, we already here in Yobe State recently in our recent engagements, we are able to have a book that we cater all the report, weekly reports, so that whenever we are writing a report, we use that book to be an evidence, and we also use that book to meet the necessary stakeholders in tracking in tracking maybe the problems that the citizens may be raised during the program. We don't only use that book for writing record, but also we use it for offline activities. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Kingsley, your hand was up. Can you go ahead?
Okay, the clarification I need to understand is, are you engaging partners to act as hosts or as guests? Okay, or they manage the program, or there's going to be a host from the radio station, and then you have partners joining the host and maybe another guest. So,
all right.
That's
okay, thank you for that, Kingsley. So the partner gets to manage it. Now the partner can be a guest on the program. There'll be an OAP that's the host in that sense. The partner can be a guest, or the partner can get people to speak. For example, like I said, NCDC will come or call in to speak. The partner can get other guests in the states to call in and talk, or come in if they can. The partner can decide to go there. For example, I would expect that when you're talking about tracking palliatives, you would be there to discuss it yourself, or you call in yourself to discuss. And then there's the OAP, who is the host in the station. But if it's something else, or maybe there's a news by the government that they want to open schools, for a conversation like that, we would want to hear from, if not someone in the Ministry of Education, we want to hear from maybe a private school owner, for example, or someone with relevant knowledge, or so a CSO person that works around education, around healthcare, or something like that. So, based on what we are discussing, of course, we would get the guests to align in that sense. And a big part also is that, for example, if we discuss on tracking palliatives today, and during the program, someone called to say that in Kano, for example, or in Abuja, Gwarimpa, I hope I got that right. Now, in Gwarimpa, there's this news about people dying and all of that. Now, if between this week's program and next week, there's no major change, it will be good to actually discuss something like that next week and get other people in different places to talk about it, or see what government has done to it. If we can get government to come and react to it, it will be good. So while at some times or at some points, EI can always suggest topics we think, and maybe we can say this particular week there is human rights challenge across the country, let us discuss that across the country. We can do that once in a while. Of course, we would inform you ahead of time, but we want this program to, in that way, react to what people are saying or react to issues on ground. And because you are there, you know what exactly is happening, you can help drive conversations around those issues. So if people are complaining about something, we would like that the program discusses that, then we would like that we have guests that can speak to those things effectively. Yes, I hope that answered your question, Kingsley.
Yes, it did.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there any other question? So for the next question, in the spirit of full disclosure, I've been exchanging SMS with a woman from NCDC. Our last response was still in the meeting with MOE, Ministry of Education. Now, if you just joined later, I mentioned when we were starting that Dr. Chinwe from NCDC was sent by the DG. She told me late last night, or this morning rather, this morning, around 8 when I called, that they had a meeting with the Ministry of Education, or the Minister of Education. And like we are aware, the government is going to decide on whether we're writing whether students will write YEC or not, amidst other things that are happening. So she's representing VG there, but she said the meeting should end early enough and she would be able to join. Before we round off again, I would call and see if she can just join and speak briefly. But I just said that to say that I'm expecting her. So if you have questions, please let us go ahead and ask them. So someone is asking, I hope we can get a generic radio concept reporting template, I guess, that we can work with and apply according to. Yes. Now, if I'm understanding this question, you mean the contact template, the reporting template? If it's reporting templates, yes, we would share the reporting templates to everybody so that you can adapt and always edit it and report directly to us every week every month in that sense. Yes, you would get it. Okay, any other feedback, please? Any feedback on the reporting template? Or
okay, I want to ask another question. From the mail you sent, you said from each state per organization 2 persons.
Okay.
Can you clarify that, please?
Also, we're saying that for this meeting today, we wanted maybe 2 persons. For example, in Zamfara State, we have CASDEV. We wanted just a maximum of 2 people from CASDEV to participate in the meeting. But beyond the meeting, anybody can lead depending on what the organization says. We also said I would provide stipend or just airtime for data for those that joined in. We provide to each organization, to 1 person per organization. But the organization can decide to have 2 people join in. I hope that's clear. Did I answer that?
Yes, you did.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Dapo, can I ask a question regarding what you just answered? So Kingsley work for connected development, and
sorry.
Yahuza as well works for connected development.
Yeah,
and I think the last time I checked, I also work for connected development. So we're three.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Because you're in different states.
No, okay.
Managing different programs in different states, yes. Now, why we are doing that is because now, of course, we are also just being very open and honest with what we are doing. Okay, sorry.
Mukhtar in connected development, I think we expect connected development to even give their own funding in this program, because you people we know that you have it a lot. So supporting us here with EIE, we also go a long way. So I don't think there's any need of any little statements for your data. Thank you.
All right.
Sorry, can I just ask a question, please? I'm not clear. I thought I saw a timeline of the project. Did we go through it completely? Did I lose something?
6 months, ma'am.
Yeah, I know 6 months, but there was something where I saw a screen when the MOU should be signed, whatever. Have we gotten through that, or we're still getting there?
Like I said, that's the last slide.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. I thought I missed it. Thanks.
All right. All right. Any other question before I go to the last slide on my hand?
Yeah, I think you can go to the next slide.
Now, before that, quickly, please, I would have to contact Mukhtar again regarding Abuja, and Simon, please, regarding Benue, we would also have to talk about what radio stations would be good to work with. But I know that I've spoken with Taraba and Kaduna, we are good to go. So thank you. So let me just go back to my presentation. All right, so the MOU will be sent today. Today is Friday. After the meeting, we would send the MOU. We would also try and send the recording of this meeting to you as we send the MOU, just in case you need to read through anything. We would get that done. Also, we would expect to get the acknowledged copy by Monday. So you can please take your time over the weekend, today, weekend, if you want to, or Monday morning or afternoon, as the case might be. Review the MOU, let us know what you think. If you have any questions, please let me know. Of course, everybody here has my number. If you need me to clarify anything, please let me know. We expect the MOU by Monday, acknowledged. Now, we also plan to have a training, a sort of training for the OAPs, because now from my engagements last year as well to the state I visited, now some of the OAPs complained about not really knowing what we're trying to achieve and how we should get them involved as well. So we're trying to see how we can do that this time around. So we are also planning to have a very short meeting with the OAPs, maybe like 30 minutes actually. The goal would be to have someone from the government, if not NCDC again, just talk very briefly on what messaging should look like during this period. Because we know that the OAPs play a very big role in how they can drive the weekly conversations. Yeah, and so if they don't really know what we're trying to achieve, we think that will be an issue. So we would actually, not even try, we would hold the training for the OAPs on Zoom again, most likely next week. Once we get the MOUs and we sign off, we will do that. The plan actually is to start this engagement upper week. I think that should be Monday, 20th of July. And let me just check my calendar quickly. So the goal is to start across the different stations, yes, on Monday, 20th. So if we can have the training for the OAPs next week, maybe Thursday, we can, yeah, as I wrote, the training for OAPs on Thursday. Then the radio program will start on Monday, July 20th across all 14 states. I know that I'm still trying to clarify on what station we are going to go with in Abuja and Benue. Other places have been confirmed. Yes. Now, what I also wrote here is that tracker and code will be available to feature across the country. Besides the 3 states they'll be leading. So tracker or code especially will be leading in Abuja, Taraba, and Kaduna. Supported by tracker, just go get on the call again with Damen or someone in Tracker to just confirm that. But they would be available to get in on a call anytime you want. Please let us know so we can schedule them as well. To just talk a bit on tracking or things that they have seen in breaking down budgets or simplifying budgets, what they think will be useful for people to know. Yes, they'll be available to do that. So partners to confirm with the stations and firm up on Tuesday, July 14th, next week Tuesday. We'll create a WhatsApp group for all partners. Now we had one before for everybody in our 25 states. We've not done anything on that because we were not having this engagement. But with this, we would create another one for just the northern states. Now, I know Benway says they're not in northern states, so let me say the northern and middle belt states. But we'll create a WhatsApp group for everybody so we can always discuss things around this engagement specifically. Just conversations around this engagement. There'll be a WhatsApp group created. We will train the OAPs again Thursday, July 16th. And then the radio program will start on Monday, July 20th. Okay. So that's that from me. Any question?
Yes, please. I have some questions. So this is a very short and tight timeline. When you say you hope to receive the acknowledged copy, are you saying acknowledged and executed? Is that what you mean?
Actually, that will remain, ma'am. But of course, take your time, ma'am.
Sorry? Okay, so that's one. So we need to, when you say acknowledged copy, do you mean it's signed?
Yes, it actually means signed. Yes.
Okay. All right. So executed. Okay. Then I want to suggest, just following on from what in the comment section, Yahuza Magaji made a suggestion about a generic radio content template that we can work with. I was going to say that perhaps, is it possible to look at a sort of schedule throughout the 6 months that we can just sort of, maybe that could be part of the work plan or whatever, where we put in tentatively, you know, you're saying we can reach out and ask for them to come anytime.
Okay. So
come in, you know, and we can use that to discuss with the partners.
So can you come again with that, man? I lost you.
Sorry, my internet connection is not very stable now. Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, man.
Okay, so I was just suggesting that maybe we should have a schedule, a tentative schedule. You know, just looking at what we want to do each week. Of course, it will change if things change, as things change. But in there, we can now maybe note when we might need tracker and code, so that it just guide our planning.
Okay.
And then we can also just use that as a basis for discussion with the OAPs and the partner stations.
Okay.
You know, but just a suggestion. It may take a bit more time, but just a suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other feedback, please?
Oh, sorry, one other question, one other thing. Following on from Mr. Charles Christopher's suggestion as well. The discussions with the stations, we'll be having them jointly, right?
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
EIE and the partners. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Just wanted to confirm. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right. So any other question or feedback?
All right, Dapo, sorry. I guess we are not yet done with the issue of the station we're using here in Abuja.
Yes, we are not.
Yeah, and then the second thing is, so the MOU that will be sent now, it's for us, it will cover the one in Taraba and Kaduna, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I mean, we would treat code as code, and not as code Kaduna or code Taraba and code Abuja.
All right. If you say so.
Yeah. All right. Any other question or clarification, please? Should plan to trying to reach her again to see if she can still join us. Any question, contribution, feedback from anybody, clarification whatsoever? We would be glad to just go over that now before we wrap up. Here are no questions. All right.
Backward, can you just proceed, or you are waiting for the woman technically?
So like
from
I said,
NDCT.
I again, just to see if she can still join. I mean, in 5 minutes, I should know and just let us know as well. So please, I apologize for keeping you waiting, but I'm just waiting to see if she can
sorry,
just.
I have.
All right, ma. Oh, we can't hear you, ma. Hello?
Oh, hello, can you hear me now? Oh, sorry, I thought I unmuted the mic. Can you hear me now?
I can't.
Okay, so I just wanted to know your own experience, or maybe you can share with some of the partners, what it has been like for you working with government stations. Because I think as far as I know, a number of them have very good coverage, you know, but I don't know how they perceive being, and what has been your experience in other states, and how you've managed, if they've had any issues with us, you know, challenging some of the things that maybe their patrons do, for want of a better phrase.
Okay. All right. So, any partner that wants to just talk to us about their experience, any person with a state-owned radio station, I'm trying to see. Zamfara, is that state-owned? I'm not too sure. I can speak to Oshun. So I know that last year I was in Oshun. Oshun, we used OSBC, which is a state broadcasting corporation in that sense. And I know that the OAP was talking about how that he received calls from government about the program. Of course, we know that what we want to achieve, sometimes we might need to call out the government. Okay, Staraba was also state-owned. So we know that sometimes we have to call out the government if they're not doing well. Of course, we would be as civil as we can. We are not trying to insult anybody, yes. But we also know that sometimes the government might frown at what we are saying. And some state-owned stations actually allow for that level of criticism, of that level of being really able to hold government accountable. Some stations do not. So it then depends on that particular station. I know that in different states, it might be different. So that station would, I mean, we know what they can allow and what they cannot allow. But from my experience so far, we've not had any challenge with the state-owned stations we've worked with. I know for OSPC, I know that in Ondo State at some point, we're working with Orange FM, which is the government or the state government's owned station. And we did not really have any challenge. Of course, whatever station we want to work with, we want to be sure that it would allow us to talk freely, and we're not trying to hide or not say anything because the government would listen or the government would not give that permission in that sense. I mean, would have been good to have Kogi join in, because in Kogi, for example, where the government is saying they don't have any COVID cases and all of that, we've talked about things like this, and it'll be good to see how the government reacts to it. But of course, we want a station that we can be allowed to speak freely in, and citizens can also call in and also talk very freely. That's our goal.
All right, Dapo, just to share a bit of an experience around this kind of thing in Abuja. So basically, I think mostly we've been using radio stations, like 4 or 5 radio stations here in Abuja. And I think the last radio station we used was Kiss FM, a program called House of Parapo, where they mix the whole discussion with in form of like jokes and stuffs like that. So I think basically, if we're going to be choosing radio stations, it would be good if we looked around an existing program and just, you know, try to just be part of that particular program. Let me, like an example, we're doing something around amplifying the Malabu scandal, which is the highest level of corruption in the oil sector, that's OPL 245. So we had to just have a conversation with the program, that's the radio station and the program. So we just be like each and every Friday is a time for discussion around Malabo scandal. So if I think EIE can maybe, you know, focus on this kind of radio slots, radio programs, and just choose one day per week. Like in Kiss FM now, the House of Parapo is, I think, the second largest listing radio program, because it's Kiss FM covers part of Nasarawa, Abuja, part of Kaduna, and part of Kogi. So it gives you that wide, and in the program, it's like a program that brings in a Hausa man, a Tiv man, and then someone from Middle. So they just know how they used to just use some stuffs to play around the whole program. So it will be like, you know, we really, in Nigeria, we don't like talking about governance and things that has to do with, you know, holding government accountable. But basically, if we put some jokes part of the whole discussion, it will go a long way in helping. I don't know if that was something we could consider.
All right, thank you. For a place like Abuja where we've not done anything major, yes, definitely. And I was going to have that conversation with you as well. You know, that states where OOTC is sort of a brand in that sense already. Because I know in some states we've done for 2 years, every week, till we stopped or paused last year. We would want to just continue like that. But in Abuja, like I've said, I will discuss that with you and see if we can do that on Kiss FM, like you have mentioned. In Kaduna, we would want to see, I know I've been discussing with DDAM. DDAM hosted the show last year on the different station on Liberty FM. So we're moving to his own station now, where it works now. We'll also discuss to see what works. Also, if I did not say, please, it's an hour. The program is for an hour. But in a place like Abuja, so I spoke to Nigeria Info earlier, an hour in Nigeria Info, the best they are saying they can do is 60,000 naira. We certainly cannot afford 60,000 naira for an hour, or for it's 30 minutes for 60,000, sorry. We certainly cannot afford 60,000 for 30 minutes. So we're trying to, I'll discuss with you again, like you mentioned, Kiss FM. Across the states, the highest we are paying is, I'm not sure, but Kaduna is saying they can do 40,000. That's also much. We'll try and I'll talk to Kingsley again after this call to see if we can get a better bargain. 40,000 is too much. The highest we are paying aside Kaduna and Abuja, they say 60 is 30 or 35. I know Kano State, Iowa FM, we're paying 35 before. Iowa can confirm that. Aside that, almost all other stations we are working with is 25,000 per episode. So in
all right, I think that for Abuja, we've been having a conversation, like let's say a long relationship with Kiss FM and the Nigerian. If something I can jump on, I mean, after the call, why not? If not, let's have a conversation.
I'll call you after this meeting and then we'll discuss further.
Yeah.
All right. Kingsley, your hand is up. Do you want to say something, please?
Oh, I forgot to bring it down after my previous conversation, my previous comment. Yes.
All right.
I forgot to bring it down. But it's fine. It's fine. I will be expecting to have that conversation with you concerning the amount they'll be charging per episode and the respective radio stations. Yeah.
Sorry, Kingsley. I know we've been having a radio program in Kaduna for the past 3 years. So why can't we leverage on that radio and have a conversation with them?
Yeah, we might be looking at that. That's another possibility. Just like you mentioned, the host for OOTC initially was DDAM. I think I featured at some point on that program as a guest. So
we'll discuss that.
For DDAM actually is a presenter on Invicta Radio, which is a different station entirely from Liberty Radio. But then it usually would go to Liberty Radio to host the program and then have the program there. So it's a conversation we can still have and then see the possibility of arriving at a suitable radio station that will be good for everybody.
Okay. Thank you, Kingsley. So,
Dagbo, please, can you concentrate more and let's conclude the meeting if that NDC one is not,
I was just
not
about
available?
Sorry. A message just now, not sure. So I asked that we're going to round up in 10 minutes. Do we wait? Our response was not sure. Presentation still ongoing. There are discussions after, and I'm representing my DG, so can't leave. Can we think of another time? Many apologies beyond my control. What I would do is get on a call with R, maybe a WhatsApp or a Zoom meeting, maybe just myself and R, record it and share with everybody so we don't have to gather again together. So I would do that and get the recording across to you as soon as possible. Now, because it's just me and R, I can be able to schedule it tomorrow or later this evening. But please and please, I please beg of you, if you have questions that you would like us to get feedback directly from NCDC based on what is happening in your state, please let me know so I can raise these issues with her in my conversation with her. So I can just ask her these questions on her behalf and get their feedback and send the recording to you. I would ensure it's not too long so I don't bore you with an hour of conversations with NCDC. So please and please, I apologize once again, like I've said. I've been sending messages to morning. Mentioned that before we started this meeting as well. What we would do is have a call with our recorded and then share with everybody. Please, if you have any questions you want NCDC to answer based on what is happening in your state, please let me know so I can include that when I get on the call with her. Once again,
how do we send these questions to you?
Sorry?
How do we send the questions to you now, or we could send other platforms? All right, fine.
Okay. So WhatsApp is fine. You can send it on WhatsApp, please. Please just send your questions to me on WhatsApp so I can act and then get back to you. So again, thank you so much for joining this meeting. Because I have everybody's contact information that joined, we would recharge your lines directly or ask how you prefer it to be done. But I would get back to everybody that joined this meeting. Again, we appreciate you for doing this with us. I would send the MOU today, like I've said as well. And, if you have any questions, please let us know. We would be glad to answer. And once again, thank you for doing this with us. We simply just want to contribute our quota in getting things to work. And we are glad you are joining us in doing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dapo. Thank you.
All right. On this note,
thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dapo.
I like your hair.
Your hair is always like that. You will like it more when you see him.
Dapo, can you just call me so that we wrap up this thing and
I'll do
jump on the other thing, please? Thank you very much. Thank you, my leader. It's an honor to be in a meeting with Charles. You know, Charles has been my godfather when we were stubborn. So today we are meeting.
Yeah, I'm very happy that I have groomed many people like you, and you are moving very fast. And I thank God that people like you can actually put that ball on a seat. And I truly appreciate that. And I can see that ball have really eaten well like this lockdown. Our ED is surely taking very good care of him. Maybe we have to send some Lagos people to maybe check the palliative from the state government. Maybe Dapo is also one of those people eating the food.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I will be ending the meeting now, and thank you. Okay, let's end those.